Hey, good afternoon. I'm Heather Sullivan, your host of Sullivan Smart Sense. Thanks so much for being with us. Look, we are in the newsroom today, changing things up a little bit. So thanks so much for being with us on this afternoon. Today, I want to help you watch out for scams because every week, as you know, we meet here to talk about different ways to help you with your money, help you save money, help you protect your money. There are a lot of scams out there. The issue of scams just seems to grow every year. So we have Leah Napoliello from the Better Business Bureau who's going to join us in just a moment to talk about. We've got travel scams, job search scams, moving scams, and some utility scams. So a lot of things to watch out for. And as I was reading her notes on this, you could tell the scammers are getting more and more sophisticated, and they're really getting tricky. So I want you to be fully aware of what's happening out there so that you don't lose money. No one can afford to lose money right now. And then after we go through all of that, we're going to have a little more fun today because I have an intern this summer. She's from the Emma Bowen Foundation, and she's learning to be a journalist. So we're going to meet my intern and talk a little bit about what she's doing and her program, and just talk a little bit about college students and what they think about this economy and the future of their job prospects and all that kind of stuff. So we'll have some fun with that. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Leah Napoliello from the Better Business Bureau. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, sure. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, okay. I mean, there's never a shortage of scams to talk about. We know, and so we have a lot of things that I know you guys are watching right now. And I think right now, people have had all this pent up energy. They want to travel. They're taking trips after not being able to do so during the pandemic. But it seems like the scammers are out there, and they've used these 2 years to come up with more creative ideas to rip people off. So it seems like in the notes that you sent me, there are quite a few different things you guys are watching in terms of some vacation related scams. So first, let's just kind of dive right into that. What are you guys seeing in that arena?
So we are often seeing the vacation rental type scams. So people are looking for properties to rent to go to on vacation, and the scammers will sometimes steal photos from other people's property. They don't really own the property themselves. So they'll take those photos, post them on various sites, and then people go on those sites and pay the scammer to rent this property. And then they will sometimes even actually go to their actual destination, and then they show up and there is no property for them. So they've lost their money and they have nowhere to stay on vacation. So that can be a very frustrating and upsetting situation for someone to have to go through.
Yeah, that has to be a nightmare,
right?
Especially when you're planning to feel relaxed and then realize you're dealing with that.
Right.
What do you think are some of the? Is there any way of kind of detecting that might be happening, or ways to kind of protect yourself from that happening?
Well, it's a good idea whenever you see images posted of property for rent to take those images and do a search online, a reverse image search, and see if those same images appear elsewhere with different contact information. That could indicate that a scammer has stolen those photos and are posting them. So just check and see if those photos are appearing on other sites, and also try to contact that person who's posting those photos and ask them for more information. Ask to talk to them either on the phone or via video chat, and ask for more information about the property, the location. And if it's a scammer, in all likelihood, they're not going to want to respond to you or cooperate at all or give you any information, or any information that they have is going to be very vague. So that's a good way to catch someone who is perpetuating this type of scam.
Okay, those are good tips. What really kind of, I guess, kind of shocked me were some of the hotel scams and things like that you guys are seeing. Can you walk us through what's happening there?
So basically, we've heard from people who say that they are staying in a hotel and they receive a call from someone who claims to be with the hotel, the front desk or the offices. And they say that there's a problem with their credit card that they have on file, and the person that staying in the hotel needs to provide that credit card information or debit card information to the hotel over the phone. Well, in actuality, this is not really the hotel contacting the person staying in the hotel, but it's a scammer just trying to get that information from you, that financial information to steal from you. So you have to be aware of that even when you're staying in a hotel.
Yeah, and they'll call you like late at night, so maybe you're tired and you're not thinking clearly.
Right, exactly. You may be tired with jet lag and that type of thing, and just not thinking it through and just give out that information freely when you really should not be giving that to anyone. And check with hotel, go down the lobby and ask them what's going on. They can be alerted to it as well.
And you guys are also seeing scams happen through people posing with fake food deliveries and food delivery options. Talk to me about that.
Right. So we have seen reports of people saying that these fake restaurants are putting menus at people's doors at hotels, and then you go to place an order, and there is really no food coming to you. There's no restaurant. It's just a scammer trying to get your money. So you need to be aware that is happening too, and ask the hotel what are some good restaurants nearby so they can guide you, because you just never know what these scammers are going to try next.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so then there's the free Wi-Fi thing. That's a little alarming.
Right. So whenever you're staying in a hotel or somewhere out and about on your vacation, hackers can create free public Wi-Fi. So you can log on to that, and you think it's something that is legit, maybe that the hotel is offering, but instead it's a hacker. You're logging onto their server, and then they can extract information from your personal accounts, any banking transactions that you may do. So you really want to avoid doing those types of transactions when you're on any type of public Wi-Fi whatsoever, just to be extra cautious.
Yeah, that's a good guideline no matter where you are, any time of year, any whatever you're doing.
Right.
Good advice there. Let's talk a little bit about what's happening with some of these. Are they fake booking sites that are kind of getting people's credit card information?
There are third-party booking sites out there. There are many legitimate ones, but there are also scam sites too, where you try to get an airline ticket on these sites and you put in your credit card, debit card information, and then you never actually receive your airline ticket. It's just a fake site just trying to get your money or personal information. So when you are searching for these types of booking sites, you want to make sure they're legit. Check with the Better Business Bureau to see if we have any complaints or reviews on a particular site.
Okay. And then lastly, let's talk about timeshare reselling. So if particularly right now, people might want to sell a timeshare to, get out of any financial obligation there. People are being so careful about their money, but the tricksters know that, right?
Right, exactly. There are timeshare reseller scams. So they will request a huge amount of money up front from you, and they claim that they can help you to resell your timeshare. But then oftentimes they will just take that money and not do anything at all. Or sometimes they will take a lot of time with it, that type of thing. And you're still having to pay those maintenance fees and everything like that on your timeshare. So you need to be vetting any timeshare resellers very carefully. Check them out and do a search just with their name and the word scam to see if anything fishy comes up.
Okay. It sounds like a lot to watch out for under the vacation umbrella.
Right.
Anything else under that we left out?
No, I think that covers it.
Okay. Well, let's talk about job scams because, it's a great job market. So a lot of people might be taking advantage of that, trying to look for a new job and increase their income. But talk to me a little bit about some of the things people should be watching out for if they're applying for jobs right now.
So you want to watch out for anything that sounds too good to be true. So if they're paying you big bucks for a type of job that is really very basic, that doesn't require much skills or a degree or anything, then that's a red flag that it may not be a legitimate offer. Also, if they're wanting you to pay up front for training, the application, or some other supplies that you may need, a job will pay you. You don't have to pay your employer for all these things. So just keep that in mind too, that you shouldn't have to pay a large amount of money up front for a job.
Is that scam still trending where, they send you a check and they want you to cash the check and then send them some money back, but the check is fake? Is that still going on?
Yes, that is still happening. Yeah, they will sometimes say that they've overpaid you. They'll send you that check and want you to send them the money back, but really the check is a fake check. So you're sending your own money to them when you're paying them back. So you have to be aware of that type of situation too.
Okay. Let's see here. And when there's no interview, so that's again falls under that kind of, too good to be true kind of thing, right?
Right. So if they're contacting you and they just are wanting to hire you right on the spot without really talking to you, either on video chat or in person, then that's a huge red flag that it's not a legitimate job offer, because any employer is going to want to talk to the person that they hired, get a feel for them and vet them. So if they're just immediately hiring you, then you want to question this particular job.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about utility scams, because I feel like the utility scams seem to kind of ramp up in the summer when, people are out going door to door doing what they do. So what are some of the things that people should be watching out for with utility scams?
So we always, every year around this time, get reports from people basically that the scammers are using the name of a utility company. So they will call, email, or text and say that there's a problem with your account, maybe you're overdue, and they threaten you and say your electricity, for instance, will be cut off immediately if you don't pay up, either over the phone or elsewhere. So it can really frighten a lot of people. And of course, this is just a scam. The person is not really representing your utility company at all. They're just trying to get that money or personal information from you. So you need to be aware that is happening. And if you do get that type of contact, go to your bill and contact your utility company that way and ask them what is going on so they can guide you. And in all likelihood, they will know this type of scam too and will warn you against it.
Yeah. I imagine right now, with the cost of everything being so high, and a lot of people are kind of struggling, maybe they've fallen behind on their utility bills. And so they might think that this is a legitimate, risk that they're about to have their electricity turned off or their water turned off. So, really kind of leaves people vulnerable right now. But the utilities generally, they're not going to call you, right? That's not usually how that works.
No, they won't call you in that way, and they won't ask you for that payment over the phone, your credit card information or debit card information. So that's really a tactic that a scammer will use. So you don't want to provide that information on the spot, even if it's someone that you think you trust, like your own utility company.
Are you guys still seeing the scam of just people going door to door posing as a utility employees trying to get into people's? I don't know if it's more of just a crime of robbery or whatever, but are you guys still seeing that kind of thing?
We do still see those door-to-door scammers as well, trying to pose as your utility company and get into your home, and they could either steal valuables or maybe the paperwork you have at your home, or they may try to get you to switch over to another provider. So you have to be aware of that too, and don't just let anyone into your home, even if you think it's someone that you trust.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, lastly, let's talk about moving scams, because, a lot of people are on the move during the summer, changing location. Maybe their rent went up and it's time to move to a new apartment, or maybe they bought a home in this crazy housing market if they were able. But we know, gosh, how many stories have I done on moving scams, the nightmare that can be, because it's already stressful. So just kind of walk us through what you guys are seeing.
Yeah, so basically we always get the moving types of scams, and we'll see situations where people pay a large amount of money up front to a so-called mover, and then they basically the mover never shows up on the day of the move. So they've lost that money, and then they have to go and schedule another mover, find someone else last minute. Another situation happens where the mover will show up and move everything, and you'll pay them a certain amount, but then when they arrive at the destination, they'll hold your items hostage unless you pay an additional significant amount of money. So that can be a very stressful situation too. And if that does happen, you should actually contact law enforcement if they're holding your items hostage.
Yeah, what would be some of your advice to make sure that you're choosing a reputable mover? Because I think the number one reason people end up falling into these scams is they're trying to save money because it's such an expensive thing to do.
Right. So the best thing to do is to find a mover that is licensed. And Texas movers are required to be licensed with the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles, Texas DMV, and US DOT as well. So make sure the company is licensed, not just a fly-by-night company. You can also check their address too to see that they have a local presence here. And if any of the movers are not answering your question, not providing that licensing or telling you their address or other information about their business, then that is a red flag, because you should hire someone that is being open and transparent with you and answering any questions that you have.
Can you talk a little more about one of the things that I hear about is this weight scam, because they sort of quote you based on the weight, but then they weigh the truck and, oh, it's so much more, so you have to pay so much more. And at this point, they've got your stuff, so you're really kind of stuck. Talk a little bit more about that and how people can try and protect themselves from that.
Right. So we have seen reports where they will quote you one price, and weigh the items. And then later, when they've already done the move, then they'll quote a different price saying that the items weigh more than they were that originally was thought. So basically, the best thing you can do in this situation to prepare is to have the mover come in person and do an estimate of your property, so they can see and you can see what exactly everything will cost up front, so there are no surprises down the line, and they can't perpetuate that type of scam.
Is there a way of like, will they give you a sort of a guaranteed, this is the price? Like, is there something you can get so that there is no change that's going to happen?
Yeah, you should get everything in writing. So get a contract when they come out to your home and you agree to hire them. So get everything in writing, get all your questions answered, how much the cost will be, the rate, all of that up front. So there are no surprises down the line, and they can't just raise the price at the last minute on the day of the move.
Okay. Well, I think we've covered all the topics there. Thank you so much. In general, I guess it's just, always kind of be a little buyer beware. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. You just kind of need to be a little skeptical sometimes, right?
Right, exactly. In this day of age, you can't be too careful about anything. You have to really investigate and make sure that you're hiring someone that's on the up and up, or investigate any other situation too.
Well, if anyone does find themselves in any of the situations that we just described, I have bbb.org on the screen there. You can get more information and reach out to them. But any other advice for people if they want to reach out to you guys for help?
You can always contact us at bbbhouston.org, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. And just encourage you to always do your research before you hire someone or deal with any type of situation.
Okay. Leah Napoliello with the Better Business Bureau of Houston. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate having you.
Sure. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Okay, that was, as I just said, Leah from the BBB. They do a great job of staying on top of all of the different scams. And also they're always, looking into business complaints. If you have a consumer issue with a business, you don't feel you were treated right, you can always reach out to the Better Business Bureau. They're a great mediator at helping to resolve some of those issues, and that resource is always there for you. So I highly recommend it. They do a fantastic job. But now I want to welcome to the show. This is my intern over the summer. This is Jada Pierre. Hello, Jada. Come scooch in. That's okay. That's okay. So this is Jada Pierre, and I wanted everybody to have a chance to meet you and learn a little bit about you, and for you to get a chance to say hello to all of our viewers watching all of our work out there. So great to have you.
Hello. Well, first of all, I want to shout out Florida A&M University right here. I would not be here without them. Because without FAMU, I would not have found Emma Bowen Foundation.
Yes.
So I just want to put that out there. But then I'm really grateful for Emma Bowen Foundation, because without Emma Bowen, I wouldn't meet Heather, because Heather's really helped me a lot, and she's really just got me exposed to just things I wouldn't think I would be exposed to this summer. So yes, I'm very excited. I'm Jada Pierre. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I currently go to Florida A&M University. I'm second year broadcast journalism scholar. So there you go.
Yeah. And she's doing a fantastic job, by the way.
Thank you.
She's just a budding journalist. She's really interested in sports. So talk to me about why you're so interested in sports.
So I've really been an athlete since I was 6 years old, all the way to senior year of high school. I'm retired now. I'm not an athlete in college.
You're retired. She's no longer a pro athlete.
No. But I've always been interested in sports and talking about it. So I knew I was going to have a career that involved sports. And I knew I was interested in being a reporter. So I knew I wanted to be a sports reporter or anchor or analyst or anything above, all the above.
Well, I think you have a very bright future, no matter what you decide to do. But we're working on sort of the fundamentals of journalism. And then you've gotten a chance to go out with some of the sports folks here a little bit. So
shout out to Nate.
Shout out to Nate. Now, tell me, let's talk a little bit more about the Emma Bowen Foundation, because that is providing your internship opportunity.
Yes. So Emma Bowen Foundation, it's partnered with Fox. And then Fox 26 Houston, since I live here. It really is a great organization that helps students like me that want to have a career in the journalism field or business-wise in the journalism field. It really just dives in deep. And I'm just really grateful for them, and I'm excited for my future for when I end up leaving Emma Bowen, and what opportunities will be out there. So I'm really grateful for them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What kinds of things, like, what have been your impressions as you've been learning the world of journalism? Has there been anything that has surprised you? Things you've really liked? Things you found harder than you thought? Like, what have you taken away so far?
I think something that surprised me is well, not really surprised me, because I knew I had to do a lot of writing in this field, but I don't know. I think something that I like is the writing is not too hard to learn, or not too hard to grasp, especially just doing it every time, all the time. I've definitely become a better writer just being in this newsroom and from your help. So it's just really just been an interesting
What she's
experience.
politely saying is, because in my era, you know, when we were interns in the newsroom, we basically sat at the assignment desk a lot, which was good. And then we would go out with reporters, which was good. But something that I did as an intern was I would write the story without being asked. Not that they would necessarily use it, but I did that to just, you know, develop my skills at writing. And then I would give it to the producer, and I would either get feedback, or they would sometimes, you know, utilize a little bit of my script or something like that. So I've kind of jumped Jada in, and she's learning a lot, but you're a really good writer. And you're already writing, you know, at a much, you know, faster and bigger and better pace than expected. So you're doing a great job. And really, the fundamentals of journalism is about writing. So I think it's good that we're spending a lot of time on that. Let's talk a little bit about just, you know, I know you don't speak for all college students, but talk to me a little bit about what college students are thinking about this crazy economy that we're in right now. What are they thinking about, you know, their job prospects, getting out of school? Like, what's on the mind of young folks today that are in school?
Well, I know, at my college, students aren't really allowed to have cars freshman year, but now I'm going to become a sophomore. So cars and gas are the big topic. So we're definitely open when it comes to things going on in the economy, and especially gas, because like I said, we're bringing our cars to campus. So gas prices are just not the happiest topic right now. I know I'm definitely gonna have to be saving a lot of money, because the gas prices are hurting each and every college student's pockets. I will say another thing is college students are really, well, at least at my college, really focusing on our careers or what we're going to do after we graduate. I know this year specifically, there's been interns that post on Instagram just their whole experience when it comes to what they're doing in their intern year, I guess you would say. And I've really been impressed with FAMU's interns. I mean, we're just the bomb. Like, we don't play. We like to get our stuff done. And I'm just really proud of them, even though I don't know half.
I can tell you are. Well, you know, to let you know, we're proud of you. But to let you know, so Jada wrote her first story that's going to be on tonight at 5 and 6 about the FAMU band. FAMU band. Tell us about the story.
Well, so the Marching 100 is in Paris right now. They were invited by Louis Vuitton to perform at the Men's Paris Fashion Week. This is not their first rodeo. They've been invited in 1989 to perform at the Bastille Day Parade to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the French Revolution. So this is just, a reoccurring pattern in history of the incomparable Marching 100 band. So that's what I pitched the story, and now it's going to be airing tonight at 5 p.m. And then another story at 6 p.m. So I'm very, very
You did it, because I know it's nerve-wracking to pitch a story in a meeting.
It was nerve-wracking. I was sweating a lot.
Really?
Yeah, well, I don't tell. No, I keep my game face on. But I'm really excited that you guys liked it. And I knew y'all were, but I'm just really glad that FAMU's story can be spread in Houston. Even though it's in Florida.
Well, they're fun to watch. They're really talented. So I can't wait to see your story on the air tonight
too.
So going back to college students, are you guys worried about if we go into a recession, are you worried? Like you're just going to be a sophomore, but are students worried about being able to find jobs coming out of school in a few years?
So, I let's see. Common sense, I feel like they would be.
Yeah.
I'm a sophomore, so
you got time.
I got time,
Yeah.
but I feel like if I was in a senior's position, I would be a little worried. Because like you said, I heard somewhere that recession would probably happen towards the end of next year.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe the seniors that just graduated recently, I think they should have some time, but maybe for the rising seniors now, I would be a little worried. But I don't know. I just feel like with the type of connections my school has, they can easily find a job like anywhere and then work their way up. But
yeah. Does your school know that they should hire you as a spokesperson for their school?
I think I would be a great spokesperson.
You are great.
But yeah, I think I would be a little worried. But I don't know. I wouldn't get discouraged though.
Yeah,
I wouldn't get discouraged.
No, absolutely not.
We'll see it through.
Yeah, we see.
We will. We will.
All right, Jada Pierre, thanks so much for joining us on Sullivan Smart Sense. It was a pleasure having you.
Yeah. Thank you.
My intern, everybody. All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Hope you had some fun with us today, and hope also you had some great takeaways about some scams to watch out for. As I mentioned, the scammers are getting more and more clever all the time. So, especially if you're going to take vacation, just be really careful before you're handing out credit card information and things like that to anybody. Make sure you know who you're dealing with out there. All right. Thanks so much for being with us. We will see you back here next week with more tips on how to save money. And we'll see you then. Have a great week.